attempt to stop her homecoming. And we were able to capture it this way, that Senator Natasha Homecoming and the abuse of power by Kogi State Government and the police in imposing curfew in our LGA, implication for 2027. That is to say, it's just a tip of an iceberg of what APC is preparing ahead of us come 2027. They've enjoyed seamless protest, seamless activities under President Goodluck Jonathan in 2015, 2014, 2015, without any interruption. But today, they are stopping the very essence that brought them to power. On the second item today, we will also continue discussion on Uromi jungle justice and escalating reprisal attacks on defenseless civilians across Ovia North East LGA, Edo State. We'll be looking at the remote causes and remedial actions that need to be taken by government, by the states, by the federal government, by even the LGA and the people in attempt to end the farmers-herders clash across the country. So depending on which topic is suitable to you, be it the Natasha Homecoming issue or the Uromi jungle justice, whichever one you have the liberty to decide which particular topic you'll be sticking to. But before we go on, let me provide a brief background on the Senator Natasha's circumstance. You all recall that Senator Natasha has accused Senator Godswill Akpabio, the sitting Senate President, of sexual harassment, a situation where the Senate is disputing it, that she's only using that as a cover-up for violating sitting arrangements. This matter has gone beyond the national shores as it is already in public global domain, and the world is looking up to Nigeria to be able to dispense justice as it involves Senator Natasha and Akpabio. Ordinarily, one would expect that you don't be a judge in your own matter. But in the event of Senator Godswill Akpabio, he seemed to be the judge in his own matter. He sat on the plenary that eventually issued the 6-month suspension on Senator Natasha. And this has been a trending topic, and it has graduated into another scenario where Senator Natasha had a planned homecoming to our LGA and she's been prevented from visiting. So this has caused a massive outcry across the country, and her people in our constituency, I watched a video where they were so joyful, they were so happy, surrounded her home, and immediately they sighted an helicopter approaching them. They knew it's their daughter, their Honorable Senator Natasha, that was on her way. And eventually it turned out to be so because the roads were already blocked for the purported curfew that was imposed by the Kogi State Government. One will begin to wonder, why imposition of curfew when there is no crisis? Why imposition of curfew where there is no any insecurity? But you know, the APC, as we all know it, they try all means to silence all forms of opposition within the country. And Senator Natasha has proven to be different, as she has been able to ensure that she visits her hometown. If I'm to capture her statement right, she was like, she is not a bastard, and she knows her roots. She must return back home, and nobody can stop her from going to her father's land. So on this note, I'll be providing anyone who is willing to make contribution on this matter to place requests by raising up your digital hand so that you can make your contribution. Because if we cannot take over the streets as citizens demanding good governance, it behoves on us to be able to lend our voice when there is injustice. There's a saying that silence is compromise. So if the rights of the opposition, the rights of the minority are being silenced and everybody is keeping quiet, then it shows that we are all accomplices in this crime against the bullied or the unjustly treated people, in this case, Senator Natasha. So please, you can feel free to request the mic and have your contribution. It's the People's Parliament, the COPDEM People's Parliament, where we sample opinion of our audience to be able to make a meaningful contribution to the topic of the day. You could decide to either speak on the topic of Senator Natasha's homecoming, or you can deliberate on the herdsmen situation that is causing insecurity across Nigeria, and in particular, Edo State as we speak. So, one way or the other, we are all victims of the circumstance, because when farmers can no more go to farm, they will all sit back at home and all meet at the market to compete with the limited foods that are provided in the market. And at the end of the day, there will be inflation. And when inflation hits, everyone becomes victim, leading to hunger, leading to starvation in our land. So on this note, I'll be inviting Mr. Rampan Jr. to give us a kind of opening remarks on these two topics. Mr. Rampan, are you there?
It's a wonderful day to be in the Parliament due process.
Thank you, sir.
You know, sometimes we have this interpretation of events. It is a sad thing, an unfortunate thing, that an entire government is pursuing one ordinary Natasha. Can you imagine? That the entire Senate would connive. What are they stopping? What are they hiding? It's just one lady now. And none of them is able to, well, some, they said, came out, they stood against it. But it wasn't as harsh as it should be, as strong as it should be. If you know it was wrong, be bold. Stand, and let's see how many bold people are there in the Senate. It is unfortunate. But it shows one thing, that they are afraid of something in this lady. What does she carry? And then now she's coming back to her own village. There is curfew. Even Rivers State with state of emergency, there's no curfew. But Kogi State, just because Natasha is coming, government imposed curfew. The blockage of road, police report. That is very wonderful. So we can, I think I'm very happy about this development. In fact, they should go further to barricade the town with soldiers. And then, you know, so that we know the kind of respect they are giving Senator Natasha. This is pure fear, public fear. The whole Senate, the whole Kogi State government afraid of one person. I beg, I drop my heart for this lady. I don't know how much, but for her to take a stand to the extent that the government have stopped concentrating on government matters and imposing curfew for Salah. For Salah, for goodness sake, when people are celebrating, you're imposing curfew. What is the reason for your curfew? Or are they copying a script of intimidation when you don't have results? You will now break all the rules, impose emergency here, twist this constitution there, ignore this one there, and the entire Senate relinquishing their entire power to President Tinubu. Well, if a state is in confusion and there is turmoil, it is the National Assembly that should preside over that state. But then they relinquish it to Tinubu without looking anywhere. I mean, that level of madness and confusion, and they're the people representing us. It's like transferring to Kogi State. For one woman to come home for Salah with her people, just to meet her family, there's curfew. Nigeria, we're seeing things.
Another breaking news. During the rally, the homecoming, she made a very surprising revelation that allegedly Senator Godswill Akpabio has asked the former governor, Yahya Bello, to kill her. But the killing should not take place in Abuja. Rather, it should take place in her hometown. And that's why they set up the curfew in attempt to deprive any movement, knowing fully well that she will attempt to pass, irrespective of the curfew. So these all were orchestrated. Those are allegations coming straight from her. I read it via Sahara Reporters. So one can imagine that in a country like Nigeria, such things will actually happen. And till date, I've not heard of any investigation being instituted to find out the credibility of this sensitive information.
That's really, really funny. Because if she will voice it, let them come out and denounce it. Like you said earlier, complacency is endorsement.
So that's the situation, and the people of Kogi Central are jubilating that they have their senator on ground. And what will we be saying in respect to the issue in Edo State? As we'll speak, the situation is still tense. As at yesterday, there were rumor of reprisal attack at Auchi. Shops were closing down around the university premises and all that. So what will we be saying? What will be advised to the government in taking proactive measures to curb this imminent reprisal attack that have been expected? Mr. Rampal,
Yes. It is the government is made up of all military apparatus within its power. I remember in the days when Major Al-Mustafa, the days of Abacha and the rest of them, they were able to intercept and gather intelligence. I mean, high-level intelligence, which was over 10, almost 20 years back. Those days, with technology, a lot of things are now possible. So I guess the government should do what it should. There may be reprisal. Of course, if they kill my people, I'll feel upset. My people, people related to me or friends that I know, I will feel upset. I will not be happy about it. I may be patient, but others may not be. And the government should be able to accommodate both the patients and those who are not patient, both those who are affected directly and indirectly. And apart from accommodating them, they should be able to anticipate the next moves of both those who see themselves as victims and those who are perceived as the oppressors. Funny enough, both the local community and the herder community see themselves as both victims but have meted some level of reprisal on the other. So government should use its intelligence capacity and anticipate and mitigate its anticipation. They know what to do in the security palace. They know where these people are situated. They know the danger spots across the country. But within Edo State particularly, it's even a more limited area. There's nothing that stops the government from surrounding Edo flashpoints and engaging them, clearly showing their government officials and anyone who is armed with the intent of causing mayhem should be apprehended. But they should push apart, they should stay in between flashpoints, in between communities that are likely to face retribution, local communities on the yes.
Let me add to it now. I also watched a video, Dr. Kemi, this popular investigative journalist from the United States. She's from the southwestern part of Nigeria. I don't know if you know about her, Dr. Kemi. And she made a revelation of how she has received intel as an investigative journalist, even though she is retired, and about the atrocities taking place in Edo North East, and how the government, the state government, has failed to even visit victims of these attacks until when the Edo 16 had to happen, which is unfortunate, and that the government is not responsive. As a matter of fact, she demanded for immediate resignation of the sitting governor, Mr. Monday Bokwebolo. And aside from that, I also read on the media under Sahara, published by Sahara Reporters, where the Director General of DSS advised Nigerians to be the first line of defense, to be the first line of defense in their community. That is to say, he urged Nigerians to defend themselves in the face of insecurity, in the face of terrorism, that Nigerians should defend themselves, defend their community, that they should not fold their arms, wait for the military or the police coming to help them, that they should be the first line of defense. And if it escalates beyond what they can handle, that is when they should expect Nigerian security architecture from coming in. And this statement has raised a lot of questions in the mind of Nigerians. Nigerians are beginning to wonder of what essence, the allocation, the personnel, call it military, call it police, mobile police, DSS, civil defense. These are different architecture of Nigerian security forces. And one begins to wonder of what use are they if the citizens are to risk their life, acquiring a weapon in attempt to defend their community, in attempt to defend their society. And there are cases where some persons have defended themselves against terrorism, and they end up being prosecuted to the extent of, recently we watched a situation whereby, is it Simon? Yeah, Simon from Plateau. Is it Plateau? I think so. He's trying to defend himself against a Fulani header who attempted to kill him, and in attempt to defend himself, was able.
Yeah,
Pardon?
That should be Adam.
Okay, Adam. Yes, Adam. Thank you for that, Adam. So you see, and then this matter got to Supreme Court, Nigeria Supreme Court, and they passed a verdict that he should be hanged. He should be hanged. You know, and I begin to wonder if the government the House Constitution that made it very clear that self-defense is not a crime. This guy was in his farm trying to cultivate, and an attacker came for him, came for his life. And in an attempt to rescue himself, he was able to defend himself, and he killed the attacker instead, and is asked to be executed by the Supreme Court. This issue got attracted international attention, and I read yesterday that there has been a revisit on the matter, and he has been vindicated. So cases like this make it difficult for people considering the line of self-defense. But I don't know what will be your opinion on this matter. Please, every other person, you're free to raise your digital hands so that we can call upon you to respond to these burning issues. You could discuss about the issue of Natasha, Senator Natasha, who is currently having a field day, enjoying her celebration in Kogi Central in the LGA, against all odds of imposition of curfew, which is not warranted by any situation. We all understand that the only circumstances where government is expected to declare curfew is when there is insecurity in the land. But in the case of Kogi Central, we've not heard about any insecurity. So why declare curfew in LG? So these are the two burning issues that we're considering for the day. They are trending matters, and want our audience to have participation to be able to discuss on these two topics. So feel free to request the mic and have your contribution. While we await your contribution, we welcoming Mr. Rampan back. Grace James, we're glad to hear your feedback as well. Ibrahim Umar, you are welcome back. You are one of the regulars of this program. And the other person, you have not renamed your device. Techno KH6, please rename your device so you can call upon you to have your contribution on this topic. Thank you. So, Mr. Rampan, I release the mic back to you so that you can make your input on what I've just stated regarding the directive given by the Director General of DSS, who stated Nigerians should be the first line of defense. They should be able to defend themselves.
Okay,
I've watched I saw the statement yesterday. So what do you have to say on this matter?
Yeah, there is, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. All right. There is credible evidence, like I was referring to Major Mustafa over 20 years ago, knowing the depth of intelligence and technology that has been applied to security. We have more intel now. So I agree with the proposition that we should be the first defenders of ourselves. For every right, there is a responsibility. For instance, you have a right to free education, but you also have a responsibility to protect, to treat your chairs and your blackboards and your markers with respect. Because you have a right to free education doesn't mean that you break the school, and stuff like that. It is a privilege to be there, and you also have a responsibility. You have a right to freedom of expression, but it doesn't mean that you will say anything, anywhere, anyhow. You have a responsibility to make sure your freedom of expression does not mean you are bringing other people under your subjugation, or you become a tyrant, you say anything everyhow. So with every right comes a responsibility. You have a right to life, and you also have the responsibility to preserve your life. The Constitution says, we the people of the Federal Republic. It didn't say we the dead people. It is talking to the living. So if you as a living person, know that you have a fundamental human right to life. You have a responsibility to protect that life. You remember the case of the young man who was protesting against the hardship during this regime. He went to climb the radio tower somewhere in Abuja. He was brought down and, well, arrested, quote and unquote, taken for psychological examination. It is unusual for people to go and climb high tension or antennas, which can be hundreds of feet from the sky, in protest. So while there is a right, there's also a responsibility for the person enjoying the right. Why am I saying this? All over the country, because of the because of the sluggish attitude of governance towards security, or as some people will have it, that actually terrorism is just weaponized. It was there, Boko Haram was there, but in 2008, the real founder of Boko Haram, who was going after the purification of the kind of education that Muslims, faithful, should adhere to, going for secular education according to his own interpretation of the book, is a sin. It is an offense. That is the real meaning of Boko, which is education, haram, a sort of a sin or a taboo. And there are consequences to that. I think it was Ismail or somebody. So within that time, he was focusing on adherents of the faith who were not adhering to that interpretation of his. He was caught, he was killed, and the issues just died somehow. And within 3, 4, 5, 6 months, then the new improved Boko Haram that we are facing today came up. This new one was focusing on mostly churches, more focusing on maybe mosque in some instances. These ones were territorial grabbers. They were land grabbers. They were using, you know, the Quran or the religion. Let me be more specific. The religion as a license and cover to do their land grabbing. It is completely different. So this new one, they know, the security intelligence of Nigeria know. And that is why when there was the ECOWAS bombing, they found the person responsible for the bombing in somebody's house who is currently within the top echelons of power in Nigeria today. So there is intelligence that it is volatile, but they are not able, they don't have the will, they are either ashamed or afraid to point these people out. We have heard of the list by Saudi Arabia of people involved. What has the government done? Nothing. We have heard from the US that they have blacklisted so and so. What has the government done? Nothing. So it is the government that is very responsible, and they know. So when the Director General of DSS says we should defend ourselves, he's right. Due process, let me give you this small analysis. They know that in the Northeast, Boko Haram and ISWAP strongholds. You have Zambiza Forest in Borno. You have Lake Chad region, talking about the Borno-Yobe border. If you come to the Northwest, there is so much bandits and terrorism, and they have their camps. You know, the Sububu Forest in Zamfara. They know it. The Dansadao Forest, also in Zamfara. They are aware that these are hotspots. They are home to several bandit groups engaged in kidnappings and cattle rustling and everything. So if you come down to the North Central, they know that something is happening around the Shiroro Forest. It is a camp, a known retreat for terrorists linked to Boko Haram and ISWAP. Even in Kogi, Kaduna, Niger, the Kogi-Kaduna Niger border, that axis. This is a corridor, and this corridor is used for arms movements and kidnappings. They know if we, as ordinary citizens, would have access and can source out this information, they know. And it doesn't stop there. It's not only in the north. In the southeast, unknown gunmen, separatist elements, the Olu Forest in Imo, the Anambra-Enugu border axis, they know that they have terrorist cells there. If you come down to the south-south, the creeks, in the Niger Delta, Bayelsa, hideouts for oil bunkering. In the southwest, you have the Okeogun Forest, Oyo State, and Ondo Ekiti Forest. These places are known. While we're looking at Edo, which is in the south-south, they know where to comb. They know how to surround the place. They know how to, with minimal casualties, ask these people to surrender, disarm everybody, and place military checkpoints there to safeguard it. They should also bring forward peace-building mechanisms. And governors should also use their security votes to ensure security. Support the people you have placed in these boundaries. If possible, train, recruit youths within communities under the leadership of the Nigerian police. Train them to be first responders, to protect, and also put a strong eye upon them. So there's a lot to be said here, but others may have more actually to contribute. But I believe strongly that yes, it's time for us to defend our communities, ourselves, as much as we can before the major reinforcement comes. We shouldn't just stay and be slaughtered like chickens. In the meantime, also, we should not be seen to provoke your neighbor while you have the right to your space. Your neighbor also has a right to his space. Yeah, thank you very much, Ako. Let me see if I'll stop here.
Thank you for the wonderful feedback. It's surprising that Nigerian government on its own is even encouraging insecurity. Do you know why I say that?
Listening, sir. It's like the internet don't want us to hear what Comrade Due Process has to contribute on this matter. You're most welcome, Pastor Lawrence. It's nice having you. Okay, now we can hear you. You're welcome. You're welcome back.
These disruptions on calls are just coming through. So
okay.
The federal government way of budgetary dispensation need to be addressed. Okay, you created a column for security votes. Sorry, am I audible?
Yes, now you are audible. Maybe you should set your device on flight mode. Sometimes I do that and it works. So you could reduce the number of interruptions.
Mr. Rampoide.
Yes, sir, I'm here and I can hear you loud and clear. Are you still there, sir?
Sorry, the network is so terrible now. I don't know.
Yeah, it happens. Are you back with us in the parliament, sir?
Please continue the program for me. The network here has been terrible.
Oh, we're all together. To understand due process has an issue. Ibrahim, Madaba, and Barkad as well. You have to say something about this now on the two topics. Let's have your voice. Let's have your input. Pastor Lawrence, you are around as well. You're welcome to the parliament. But I really would love to hear Ibrahim. Ibrahim, are you able to speak with us now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I said, please wrap up the program.
Okay, all right, that's great. Yeah, we can do that. All right. As we wrap up, can we hear from you, Ibrahim and Pastor Lawrence, because either the issue of Natasha's homecoming or the security situation unfolding in the South, so we could wrap up if you're in a position to speak, because I know you are versatile and your contributions are always. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been really a beautiful time discussing on these issues. Today on the Parliament, we're looking at Natasha's homecoming and the surprising complications that some of us believe were not were instigations and not very, very palatable for our democracy. And yet this lady is waxing stronger. We pray and hope that the right thing is done. And we pray that those in the position of power should know that they are there temporarily and they are representing the people by holding the various offices in trust. Similarly, on the issue of security around the country, but particularly focusing on the South and Edo State to be precise, the Parliament would expect that government should take the necessary steps to ensure the security of lives and property, take peace building seriously, equip the armed forces of Nigeria to ensure that they mop up and clean up illicit firearms, illegally procured firearms across the country. And we call on also the labor, civil society organizations to not only come out and protest for salaries, but the security of the nation should be placed paramount. No nation would want to invest in a nation that is not secure. No businessman, no business-minded person would want to invest in a place that is not secure, except the person is an arms dealer. And this insecurity does not only affect only the lives and property of the people, but involves very important, critical parts of the society negatively. Education is affected, agriculture is affected, the commerce is affected. So we hope and pray and ask that government should do the needful. It's been a good time speaking with you, and stay tuned. Join us tomorrow by 2 p.m. as we canvass the country and look at trending issues that affect you and I. And here in the COPDEM People's Parliament, we have our say, and we don't only say it, we send it to the world and take action. On behalf of Due Process, who has been the anchor of the program, and DDM, who has been the broadcast house. My name is Ron Palm Jr. saying thanks for being with us, and see you tomorrow at 2. Have a pleasant time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye-bye.